Have you ever gone through a period of time where you have dreamt consecutively every single night and that the dreams are very vivid and lucid? Well, that's what it's been like since arriving in Alaska. So, since the end of August of last year until last night, every single night I have dreamt just the craziest dreams. And the scene that you just watched is based on dreams that I've had. My dreams are so lucid that it's almost as if I can feel the tangible items in the dream. Now, I don't understand all the dreams that I have, and I'm not going to begin to interpret my dreams. Like, I'm not going to interpret why I had a dream about a bubble bath when I can take a bath. I have a stock tank. I don't have a bathtub, but I have a stock tank. So I'm taking, a warm bath. That's not an issue. I'm not going to interpret why I'm dreaming 1970s vibes, getting ready to go out for a night on the town. When I am not a partier, I don't like to go to bars or restaurants. That's not my thing. Nor am I going to, interpret why stepping through a doorway and it going from night to day in the blink of an eye. Whoa. And your appearance changing as you step through this doorway. I'm not going to interpret any of that. If you guys want to interpret, leave it down in the comments. Feel free. I'm sure you guys will have some pretty vivid explanations as to why these things might be happening. But my theory on all of this is that when I was in the lower 48, I spent my days daydreaming about getting here to Alaska and living this life. I spent a lot of the nights laying in bed awake, trying to get my brain to shut off from all the problems that I was dealing with. And I just could not get a good night's sleep. And here, as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm out. And at night then, my brain is able to relax. It's free to roam and go into all these other different thoughts. I sleep an incredibly deep sleep here, which is fantastic. And if having lucid and vivid, crazy dreams is the price I have to pay for living this lifestyle, fine by me. I am not complaining. It is a minor price to pay for getting to do the things that I'm getting to do here. And speaking of getting to do things, it is go time. I have so many projects lined up for this summer that I'm actually beginning to think that maybe I've taken on too much. And I might put some things on a back burner just because with it being my first summer here, having made it through now this first winter, which was a fantastic winter, I actually feel really good about what I got accomplished. But now I need to start buying things and getting things organized and set up because the work is about to begin on this cabin. The roofer has dropped off materials, as I showed you in my last video, and the roof is about to come off in just a couple of weeks' time. And that means that I need to start moving some things so that the roofer has room to do the things that he needs to do. Because not only is he going to be replacing my roof and extending the pitch over the Arctic entry, he is also going to be putting in a hatch from the inside of the cabin to the root cellar below. So that means that I'll be able to get in to the root cellar from inside the cabin and no longer have to be walking out and around to do so. That's going to be a huge game changer for me as far as what I'm able to do. And so I have an upcoming video regarding the root cellar. So stay tuned to the channel for that. But in addition to the root cellar, he is also going to be putting in a new door for me so that I can have a means of egress out the back of the cabin. So I'll have the Arctic entry, I'll have the front door, and then I'll also have a back door, which that'll give me the opportunity to actually go ahead and get quick access to the back of the property where I plan on putting in a garden. I'm not sure if that garden's gonna make it in this year or not, just simply because I have so many other things going on. It might, we'll see what I get accomplished. But before I'll know that, I got to get some other things taken care of. So with that being said, I need to get to sleep because I got a big day ahead of me tomorrow. I got to get up early and leave early so that I can get my shopping done and other errands that I need to run. And I'll see you guys in just a moment. Stay with me, because through the magic of YouTube, an entire night is gonna pass before you even know it. Be sure to hit that like button because it'll help other people see these videos too. Well, I'm about to head out. I need to run into the Wasilla area this weekend and go get some groceries and some materials for the cabin. And of course, as luck would have it, weather is set in. So fingers crossed that we have a safe drive, but let's head out, shall we? Good morning, everyone. So I've got the car loaded up with my cooler, my largest of my coolers, which I hope was enough. I will be purchasing mainly fresh vegetables and some frozen goods, but I'm picking up half a hog that I purchased for the freezer. And so hopefully I brought enough coolers. Well, if nothing else, it means I just buy another one. Yikes. Poor planning. That is one thing about when you live remote like I do, is that you need to plan accordingly before you leave to go across the state to buy things. You don't have the opportunity to make mistakes and to forget things. So you write lists and you track everything, and hopefully you don't forget anything. Now, the cooler that I brought is extremely large, so I imagine that it'll be fine for what I need to do. The drive from the east side of Alaska to the Wasilla Palmer area is very scenic, but it's also very monotonous. And so your eyes can become very fatigued fairly easily while making this trek. And you definitely, there's no radio. So if you don't have a CD player, like I don't, you don't have internet connection because your cell service leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah, just be aware this drive can be daunting because it's a long one. I mean, you're going to be on the road for hours. It's still a long drive regardless, and your eyes get tired, and it all pretty much looks the same, especially when, as you can see outside, there's like no sunshine, so you can't see things off in the distance because everything's just kind of fogged in. There is road damage, and this road is very bumpy to begin with. Generally, this drive is beautiful, but this time of the year, when things are starting to melt and you're still getting some snowfall, everything is just basically one color, or a shade of one color, and that's basically gray. And it was very cold on this particular day. And I think that it's important that people understand the reality of the scenery of Alaska is not always gorgeous glaciers or amazing shrubbery and wildlife. Sometimes it's just gray and bleak. And when you're driving on a road that the scenery becomes very monotonous, and you're just constantly looking out for wildlife on the road. There aren't a whole lot of other cars on the road, so you're not really paying too much attention to oncoming traffic or people in front of you because there just isn't any. You can become very zoned out, if you will, while driving. And that's something that people need to be aware of as well, is that you're going to have both scenarios, right? You're going to have the, oh my God, look at the scenery and doing the rubberneck thing while driving, or you're going to have the, I'm very bored and I need music or snacks or something to keep my brain stimulated so I don't fall asleep behind the wheel. On this particular day, as I was heading into Palmer, what was keeping me awake was the fact that the heater had quit working in the car. And so I really stopped filming myself and talking on camera because of that. So I apologize for that. But I also didn't want to leave these bits of scenery out of the video because I think it's important that people see the reality of Alaska during spring. And that you don't necessarily think that it's going to be this grandiose, amazing, scenic thing. Because just like anywhere else around this time of the year that gets snow, it's kind of yucky looking. And it's just something to keep in mind. So one of the other things to keep in mind is that when you're having to run across the state to pick up supplies, that you need to make sure that what you're going for is available. So I start my shopping online. I don't necessarily order the things online, and I'll explain why in a future video, but I do make sure that what I'm looking for is available at the stores that I plan on hitting up. For example, I needed some butane. Sportsman's Warehouse was completely out of butane, so I had to go pick some up at Fred Meyer's. I needed to get some items for the cabin projects that I have going on. And it just happened to be that the items that I needed were available at Lowe's, but not available at Home Depot. And I'm not, a super fan of one or the other. It's just whoever has what I need and has it at the best price, if possible. But I also don't want to be doubling back and forth over my tracks to get things. I want to try to plan my route so that I'm only, shopping in one area if possible and minimizing my amount of back and forth traffic as best as I'm able, because time is of the essence. On this particular day, I happened to leave the cabin at around 6 o'clock in the morning, and I did not get back to the cabin until about 11 o'clock at night. And there was no downtime. It was constantly driving and shopping and driving back. And so you do have to plan accordingly when you're doing this. And again, I just want to apologize that this video isn't as upbeat or as humorous as maybe some of my others, but I do have a little bit of hilarity for you at the end here. And I do want to thank everybody for sticking with me. If you've made it this far in the video, you're a real trooper. And I hope to see you next week. If you haven't seen my other videos, which are a lot more fun than this one, do check out these here. And I hope to see you next week and enjoy this little bit of extra footage. Nicholas. I'll get you in a minute. Lay down. Close your eyes. Okay, that's good. I'm not going to be able to do this because I'm big giggling.